Saw is a 2004 movie directed by James Wan, and it's starring Leigh Whannel, or Whannel, I'm still not really sure how to pronounce it, but it's also starring Cary Elwes and Danny Glover. Two men awaken on opposite sides of a dead body, each with specific instructions to kill the other person, or face deadly consequences. Saw came out at a time where horror movies in the early 2000s were meaner and they were grungier. And it's like the whole genre of horror felt like it needed to elevate to something else, to being more disturbed with different psychopathic killers and body dismemberment and gross out techniques that we had never seen before. This movie actually pioneered the subgenre of torture porn, but this movie is more subdued than the other movies in this franchise. Movies like Hostel and The Collector are a direct result of the wild success that Saw had in 2004 when it was immediately released. Obviously, you know I had to talk about Saw and its cultural importance in the genre. Like I said in my Dead Silence review, by the way, go watch that, I'll have the link down below. Shameless plug. Saw is what put James Wan and Leigh Whannel on the map. It launched both of their careers in horror as well as blockbuster films like Aquaman down the road. I feel like Leigh Whannel actually has some very solid writing here, with some great ideas and a great execution of flashback scenes, as well as an amazing twist. The writing can falter sometimes with some cheesy dialogue, but at the same time, this was their first movie, and James Wan and Leigh Whannel were both 25 to 26 age range, which is just a huge feat and a huge inspiration for me, being 23 years old. And a lot of filmmakers or screenwriters will tell you that you want to aim to make your first movie by 25, so that's an insane feat in itself. The acting is good all around for the most part, but it can kind of fall into being over the top at times, especially in Cary Elwes' performance and Danny Glover. Just delivering a whole lot of cheese in his performance. But honestly, I really enjoy it. It's actually kind of fun. But I think what Cary Elwes did here, especially in the very emotional scenes, is play it so heightened that it comes off as realistic. Because, like, you have no idea how you would respond in that sort of a situation when you are forced to either cut off your foot or your family dies. But there were moments where he was just insanely over the top, and it's hard not to think it's funny sometimes. As well with Danny Glover, he just seems like such a movie cop, like cheesy dialogue, cheesy line delivery, but I kind of love it because it's Danny Glover. But I do think that it helped to cast these two very well-known actors in the movie and just elevate the movie to something else than just being a lower budget horror movie. Which is why I think it helped the movie gross over $100 million in the box office when the budget of the film was only slightly over $1 million. It made it one of the most profitable horror movies at that time. The music by Charlie Clouser, who also did the music for Dead Silence, that's a great score. Obviously, Saw is more of an iconic score for him than Dead Silence. The ending, when that music kicks in, it gives me chills every single time. And to my knowledge, Charlie Clouser has scored most of the Saw movies since then. The traps in this movie are also very clever, and they're pretty tame compared to the other traps that we see later on in the franchise. My favorite in this movie being the reverse bear trap, which is a very memorable scene in the movie. I'm not a huge fan of this green tint that they have on this scene though, as well as the rest of the movie. It kind of has like this greenish hue, except for when Cary Elwes and Leigh Whannel are in the bathroom together. That has more of a blue, cold tint to it. I understand they're trying to go for maybe this kind of gross, grungy, dirty look, but I'm just not super huge on green or blue tints for movies. Also, my personal opinion, the editing for the reverse bear trap scene as well as some of the other trap scenes, like in the bear trap scene, the camera starts spinning in a circle as she's like freaking out, and I'm just not a huge fan of that choice, but it's a choice, and the other Saw movies kind of took that editing style and ramped it up to 1 million, almost to the point of being annoying. I think that this first Saw movie and Saw 10 are my favorite in the entire franchise. But tell me this, how does the 10th movie in this franchise have such a higher score than the original one? And not just slightly higher, no. Saw 10 has an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes with almost I think it's like an 89 audience score, while this movie has like a 50, and that just boggles my mind. Especially this being the original, I just don't understand. I don't understand Rotten Tomatoes sometimes, you know? But I will say, I think I do enjoy watching Saw 10 over this one sometimes. I think they're kind of like on the same level, and honestly, Saw 2 is really good as well. It's just not one I could feel like watching a whole lot. Tobin Bell as the villain John Kramer, aka Jigsaw, is iconic, and he gives a great performance as this character as he has throughout this entire franchise. Even in Saw 10, Tobin Bell knows how to make the character fresh, and I just think it's crazy that we're going to be on the 11th Saw, and Tobin Bell's standing up in the twist ending where we thought he was the dead body the whole time, and Adam has this shocked look on his face. It just seals the deal. As soon as he hobbles over to the door and says game over and slams it shut, it's just so good, and the music and everything just wraps together so well to give one of the best endings in a horror movie, I think, ever. Saw is an amazing directorial and writing debut from James Wan and Leigh Whannel. Obviously, you know it's got to be a Halloween scary movie staple, and I'm going to give the movie 3.5 out of 5 stars. Thank you guys again for watching. I really do appreciate you for sticking with all these videos for the month. I'm getting kind of sad as we approach the end of this month. I only have a couple more reviews left, but I kind of want to try and give you guys a little more out of these reviews since it is almost the end. But I really appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.